inspirational about you is that you actually use your knowledge and your robotic science information to help the blind.
Yes.
So that they can drive a car one day.
So the important thing is, I also always talk to my students that it is important for engineers. It applies to everybody, but for engineering students, I tell them it's important to really think about the impact of your work will have on society. So I tell them you have to be sensitive and be generous. The Blind Droid Challenge is a good example. We develop these technologies. We want to let the benefit the society, increase the quality of life for the blind, being generous and sensitive. So that's what we try to do. We try to teach our students.
So apart from being a scientist, you are also a gourmet chef and a magician as well. How does those two come about?
Yes. I don't know. It's some things that I like to do. But come to think of it,
you like eating, you like cooking.
Yeah, so my cooking, I don't follow like the pre-done recipe. I just go to the farmer's market, buy whatever is fresh and improvise things. And magician, I've been on TV and do stage magic, but most of the tricks that I do, these are the tricks that I personally invented. So come to think of it, the robotics things, since you mentioned creativity and cooking, the type of cooking that are improvisation and the magic tricks, I think since you mentioned it, they all have the common element of creativity, I guess. It's kind of cruel to ask.
I know.
I'm not prepared at all, and the camera's running. But so instead of actually showing you a trick, I'm actually going to tell you how to do a trick. So I made it. Okay, there you go. You can keep this. I don't need this. All right. So I'm going to tell you how to do a trick. I'm teaching you how to do it. So you probably seen a magician has a newspaper and he tears it into bits and pieces.
And then put them all back.
So I'll teach you how to do it. Now, obviously, it's impossible to do that. The physics doesn't work. So we magicians, we have to cheat, or it's illusion. So we start with 2 pieces of newspaper or Kleenex, okay? So what I do is, I'll show you first. So what you need to do is make it a ball, and you hide it in your hand. You call this palming, okay? So you start like this. But don't go like this, just naturally hold it like this, and you start like this, okay? And now the magic trick begins like, oh, I have a piece of newspaper or tissue, right? And then I tear it into bits and pieces like this, okay? And then roll it into a ball, okay? Of course, while doing this, the people shouldn't see this. If they see this, it ruins the trick, right?
Of course.
So you hold like this. So this is the torn piece of paper, and this is the whole paper, but you hold it like this. Now we have to use the principle of misdirection. So what you do is, even though you're holding it in your hand just like this, you say, oh, I'm gonna put my hand in my pocket, and I'm gonna bring up some pixie dust. And if I actually look at my hand like this, everybody's looking over here. So even though I'm holding my hand like this, I just switch these two like this.
But that must be pretty quick.
Yeah, even though you do it slowly, you'll be surprised that nobody actually realizes it if you just do this. And pixie dust, like this, and then give it a pause for drama, and then you're like, you're like, oh, look at this, and then slowly, go like this, and people are like, wow, how'd you do this?
Yeah.
So I'm teaching you how to do the magic trick, but sometimes, as I mentioned, people should not see this, because if they see this, the whole thing is ruined. But sometimes somebody always in the audience, somebody say, hey, what's that in your hand? So if you get caught, what you do is you say, oh, this one, and just do the same thing, pixie dust, and just do, if you get caught, do the same procedure, and you just make it a hole like this again, if you get caught. So that's how you do it.
Oh, wow. How did you do that?
Yeah. Magic.
Well, you're making me look at your pocket, right?
Yes. Yeah, that's how you do it.
So is this science?
Yes, it's a psychology. So the interesting thing is, when you create a magic trick, the trick itself is so simple. It's something really, really simple. But so when you develop the trick, you're not really developing the trick itself. You're designing the storyline, the theme. Okay. So for example, if I draw a graph, this is time, and this is the reality or expectations. The reality and what you think is true are the same. But if I make a slight twist, very small trick, and I have a twist, then the reality and what you think start to diverge, but you don't know. And at the end, as the story develops and develops, at the end you reveal it, that because of the huge distance between what you believe is happening and the reality is the difference is so large, that's where the wow factor comes in. But that small trick itself can be something simple as a palming thing or a switching thing or misdirection and those kind of stuff. So that's the psychology. And if you understand that principle, it's just a matter of coming up with a nice storyline or props like coins and these kind of things and just make it fun.
Does magic help with your work, robotics work?
I never mix them together because as a scientist and engineer, my credibility could be on jeopardy. My work is serious work. This is for entertainment, but again, both of them have the same common thread of creativity, I guess.
Thank you so much for
Thank
your
you.
time today.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
The debate, as Dr. Hong says, might be whether society is ready to accept the fact that blind people can drive cars. But what's more important is that Dr. Hong and his team use their knowledge to help better the lives of others, especially those less fortunate, like the visually impaired. And that alone, I think, deserves a lot of respect. See you next week on Viewpoint. สวัสดีค่ะ